Hello friends, I am Professor Smita Jha from the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, and as we all know that we are doing research methodology in Humanities and Social Sciences. Today's topic is selection of journal. Very important topic because we all know that journal and publication of paper in reputed journal is as important as producing a good thesis. So researchers spend countless hours conducting experiments and documenting their findings. As part of their research journey, they share these results with their peers by publishing articles in peer-reviewed journals. In the ever-evolving world of research, journals play a key role in disseminating cutting-edge knowledge about recent discoveries and inventions. However, not all journals are created equal. Therefore, prospective authors need to identify the journal type best suited to their publishing needs. Although journals can be peer-reviewed or non-peer reviewed, the primary focus will be on peer-reviewed journals specifically designed to meet the diverse needs of researchers across disciplines. Even within the genre of peer-reviewed journals, there are plenty of options. However, they can broadly be categorized into various types based on how researchers can access or publish, whereas it will identify various established journal types. The second half will predominantly cover journal types based on the associated business model. Now, the prominent question is how to choose a journal. Why this is important, choosing a journal? So, reason for publishing in high index journal. This is one of the important reasons while selecting a journal. Then technical writing, the type of specified writing. Understanding the editorial process, yes, it is blind or peer reviewed, and the editorial board, the quality of the editors. And then dealing with rejections. How frequently a particular journal rejects a paper, that is also very important for a researcher. Then how many journals? That is again important question, that how many journals are out there to publish in, means the frequency, it is by, try or 4 time, in one semester twice or biannual. That depends the accepting and the rejecting of the paper, and also does your institute have access to. Many of the topmost institute, they have this kind of subscription. So you need to find out whether these journals have MOU with the institution or not. So finding the right journal in which to publish your article can be a difficult process. Now, what are the criteria to consider a journal? Journal information or content? Yes, a particular area in which you are pursuing your research. The journal should be associated with that, because when you submit your paper, the journal, editorial board or the main editor, they must see the content of your writing. So, the genre you can say. Then journals used by yourself, mentor, advisor, colleagues. Whether you have been to that journal or you have gone through the journal or you have come to know that journal through your advisor or colleagues, that is also very important. Then types of articles published, original research, review, case study, this will help you to find out a journal. You read out the articles and then you will find the standard of that journal. Length of manuscript accepted. All the topmost premier journals, they accepted 5,000 to 6,000 words journal and then supplemental data. So these are the criteria to consider a journal. Then reputation of the journal, and that depends on the impact factor and the circulation. Years in publication. Suppose the journal is coming out in 1932, since 1932. Several volumes are there, naturally that is a reputed journal. Cost and availability, journal cost and effectiveness. Sometimes some of the journal, they ask you for subscription. Then open access. Open access, DOI, that is also very important. Peer review status, impact factor, these are the important parts of the or you can say criteria to consider the status of a journal. Then also acceptance rejection rates. Journal with lower acceptance rates are generally more prestigious. Reputation of the journal, publisher, editor. Who is the publisher? Quality of accepted articles and authors. Yes, what kind of? That is why you need to go through the papers. Audience of journal, readership, audience size, that is indexing and circulating, and that decide the impact factor on a high indexed. Now, criteria to consider. What are the criteria? Review process. It is peer review, blind review, because a reputed journal will go for blind review, peer review. Time to publication, speed of peer review, pre-sub online, how much time it takes. Publication cost, author's fee, because these are also very important, that how much cost your pocket allows. That is another good question. Now, the journal impact factor reflects the average number of citations to recent article published in that journal. It is one measure of the relative importance of a journal within its field. Like high impact factor, more important. Like A, the number of times article published in 2012 and 2013 were cited by index journal during 2014. You see, then 2013, after 1 year, the index journal published. Then B, the total number of citable items published in 2012 and 13. So, A/B is equal to impact factor. 2 years and then impact factor. Journal citation reports. Now, this link opens in a new window. Subscription resources must be on campus network. Journal citation reports evaluate journal based on citation data. It measures research influence and calculates impact factor at the journal and category labels and shows the relationship between citing and cited journal. So, journal citation report can show you the most frequently cited journal in a field, highest impact journals in a field, because impact factor is very, very important to decide the reputation and the rate of that journal. Issue table of contents and article links, search by category. So, go to inside journal citation report and select browse by category. Click select categories at the left, you will find this. Select the category that best matches your discipline. Once the center list is populated, click the number in the journal column to view journal title. You will find series of journal. Journal titles are sorted by impact factor. The impact factor of 10 or greater is considered an excellent score, and high index of 20 is good, 40 is outstanding and 60 is truly exceptional. How to identify high impact factor journal in your field? So, JCR, that is Journal Citation Reports from Thomson's Insight Web of Science. You will go there. These are the website, Thomson sites and also Web of Science. You will find everything. Then browse table of content and issues, click title to access the journal's profile and select the go to journal table of contents link. Now, see, this is the go to journal profile and journal by rank. So, this is there and you will find all, that is the journal categories selection. So, you can find out all the information related to your subject area. This is how you see, this is how you can go to the journal table and there you find journal of your choice. Now, find journals in your subject area. There are a variety of sources of information to help you with making a short list of journals that publish articles in your subject area. Think about the journals you read. Consider the journals that you are familiar with, those that publish articles you have read. These are probably a great starting point if you use reference management software such as Reference Work and you have a database of the articles of interest to you. This may help you to easily identify the journals that publish the articles. Ask your colleague. Asking your colleagues for their recommendation is another good place to start. Your research group supervisor, research lead, reference unit of assessment, coordinator, or research team will probably have suggestions or recommendations for relevant journals and may have had the experience of submitting to them. Look at list of journals in your subject area of discipline. The databases provide list of journals by subject that may help you find journals for your shortlist. For example, Scopus contains list of journals by subject. Click on the sources link at the top of the Scopus home page and then search for a relevant subject area to see a list of journals publishing articles on that subject. Detailed breakdown of journal selection processes. Identify your research focus. What is the key message or research question? What type of research is it? That is basic, clinical, applied. What is the scope and potential audience for your research? Now create a short list of potential journal. Consider journals you regularly cite, where colleagues publish, or those that have relevant calls for paper. Use journal selection tools or databases to find relevant journals. Refine your shortlist based on the following criteria: aims and scope. Ensure the journal's focus aligns with your research. Audience: identify the journal's target audience and whether your research is relevant. Reputation: evaluate the journal's reputation based on impact factor, editorial, board, and previous authors. Peer-reviewed policy: understand the journal's peer review process and whether it suits your research. Author's right: determine your copyright and reuse policies, cost, assess any associated publication fees. Turnaround time: consider the typical time it takes for a journal to publish articles. Assess the journal's quality and legitimacy. Review the journal's website and content for quality and relevance. Check for transparency in the journal's policies and practices. Ensure the journal is not predatory by checking for indexing status and other quality indicators. Now, while making your decision, consider the journal's support for promotion and other factors. Possible consideration: scope and coverage. Are the journal's aims and scope clearly stated? How does the scope of the journal contribute to the field of biomedicine? Does the authorship, editorial board, makeup, and content accurately reflect the journal's scope? Authorship: international or local, regional. What article types are published in the journal and what topics? Does the journal cover an area of research and geographic location that is relatively underrepresented in the scientific literature? Now, editorial policies and processes. Is the peer review process explicit and sufficiently detailed, including information on the type of peer review and the number of reviewers typically assigned to a manuscript? Does the journal have a policy for the review of articles authored by editors and editorial board member, if applicable? Are the journal's ethical policies findable, clearly stated, and consistent with current best practices? Are statements regarding approval from an ethics committee and or regulatory body, animal or human subject, and informed consent present in all relevant articles? Do author consistently disclose conflicts of interest and funding resources? Are commercial sponsorship clearly addressed, that is, do not raise question about the objectivity of published content? Are full name, affiliations and credentials provided for the journal's editorial or editor's board? Do members of the editorial board have appropriate credentials and subject matter expertise? Is the role of editors, editorial board members, and other editorial staff clear? Is there sufficient variation in the editorial board and the authorship of articles? Do journal policies support transparency, reproducibility, open science, and data sharing? Now, the methodological rigor, in a way, objective or scientific rigor. Does the abstract provide a complete, not and accurate description of the content of the article? Are study aims clearly stated and logical? Is the rational justification for conducting the study clear? Are the method described in sufficient detail so that the experiment could be reproduced? Are the contents reported in a manner that is consistent with reporting guidelines for the article or a study type? Is the study design robust and appropriate to the stated aim? Are the conclusion drawn supported by the data? Is the discussion section critical and comprehensive? Are the reference appropriate in number and up to date? Are statements supported appropriately by citation? These are the questions. Now, when we talk of production and administration, these questions are very important. Does the journal keep to its stated publication schedule? Does the publication frequency and volume demonstrate long-term sustainability? Are figure and tables well constructed and of sufficiently high resolution, not blurry? Are figure and table well annotated and easy to read and interpret? Is the writing clear, concise, and logical? Does the writing impede scientific meaning or cause confusion? Are authors listed with affiliations and correspondence information? Do articles of the same type, that is original research, follow a consistent structure outlined in the instruction for authors? Do original research articles, systematic reviews, and meta-analysis have a structured abstracts? Are there indicators of sufficient editorial attention as evidenced by the elimination of editorial error, that is, incorrectly numbered section, mislabeled tables, figure? Is the website functional and easy to use, navigate? Now, impact. What is the overall significance of the journal? Does the journal critically synthesize and organize knowledge in its field? So, how to choose a journal? Now, make sure your paper fits within the scope of the journal, assess the credential of the journal or publisher, browse the content they publish for quality and relevance to your field, check the quality of your website, of their website, check what tools and services they offer to author. Submit your research to one journal only, but check if they offer transfers to other journal. Follow the instruction for authors carefully. Read the aims and scope on the journal website. Consider if researcher in a related field might be interested in your study. If so, a journal that covers a broad range of topics may be best. If only researchers in your field are likely to want to read your study, then a field-specific journal may be best. Verify if your target journal accepts the type of manuscript you want to publish, and look beyond the impact factor. It is just one measure of journal's reputation. Consider the impact of other work published in the journal and whether your research is of a similar level. Check if the time to publication is suitable to your needs. Now, Elsevier offers a wide range of distinguished journals, and choosing the best one to publish your research paper is much easier with our support and guidance. Using the journal finder, you can match your manuscript and learn more about each journal available. Powered by the Elsevier fingerprint engine, Journal Finder uses a smart search technology and field of search specific vocabularies to match your paper to the most appropriate scientific journal in a few simple steps. First, enter the title and abstract of your paper. General finding machine. Find journals that are best suited for your publication. Ultimately, the editor will decide on how well your article matches the journal. Now, to find out more about a journal in article publishing, choosing a journal for publication is a strategically important step to allow your work to shine and attract the attention of the right people. Thus, it is not a decision to make without spending some time researching the best available publication out there. Make sure to follow such tips to get even closer to the perfect journal for you. Read the journal's aims and scope to make sure it is a match. Check whether you can submit an article. Some journals and invitation only. Use journal metrics to understand the impact of a journal. And then cite score metrics helps to measure journal citation impact. SJR Iskimago journal rank is based on the concept of a transfer of prestige between journals via their citation links. Journal impact factor is calculated by Clarivate Analytics as the average of the sum of the citation received in a given year to a journal's previous 2 years of publication divided by the sum of citable publication in the previous 2 years. High index, although originally conceived as an author level matrix, the high index has been being applied to higher order aggregation of research publication including journals. If available, check the journal at Journal Insight for additional info about impact, speed and reach. Impact, number of times an average paper is cited. Speed, the average number of weeks it takes for an article to be reviewed, is essentially the average number of weeks it takes for an article to reach key publication points in the production process. Reach, the number of download at the country region level over the last 5 full years available. The number of primary corresponding author at the country regional level over the last 5 full year available. How will your colleagues and peers find your work? Is your selected journal indexed in a major reference database, for example, sociological abstract, or it is in a specialist database, for example, ERIC or AMED? Is a subscription required? If so, does NHSS Scotland Knowledge Network have one? Access to the full text. Is your article going to be behind a paywall? Can you offer a local copy or publish open access as the people in your organization can still access? Use the proper author affiliation for your work. Do not use team name or department name. Do use the proper organization name, whatever you are coming from. This enable organization to locate their intellectual property with greater ease and gives the proper attribution to your work. When choosing which journal to approach, a number of factors should be considered, such as topic area, your experience, or author, publication cost, impact factor cost. So, publication costs are an important factor in deciding whether to publish and should be considered during the planning stage. And I always advise that please go for the free journal where you need not to pay. So, planning stages, so essentially 3 cost models exist. Open access only, there is a cost to publish and full text is available to all. Open access option, there is only a cost if you choose to publish open access. And third, subscription only, a subscription is required for readers to access. So, open access publication may be necessary as part of funding agreement of the research grant or chosen to increase access internationally. However, open access should not necessarily be default option, as NHS Scotland has subscription to a large number of journal. Elsevier Journal Finder helps you find Elsevier journals that could be the best suited for publishing your scientific article. EndNote Match find the best fit journals for your manuscript. A few key pieces of information, your title, abstract, references. EndNote Match can help you find the right journal for your manuscript. Journal author name estimator Jane. Have you recently written a paper but you are not sure to which journal you should submit it? Or maybe you want to find relevant article to cite in your paper? Or are you an editor and do you need to find reviewers for a particular paper? Jen can help you. Publish or Flourish Open Access. Flourish Open Access is a resource for identifying high quality, high value open access journal. Springer Journal Suggester. Use Springer Journal Selection. Search for all Springer and other kind of journals to find journal for your manuscript. Think, check and then submit. Is a campaign to help researchers identify trusted journal for their research. Now find journals that publish similar articles. If you are not sure which journal publish article in your area, you can use a relevant literary database. Find these using libraries, subject guide or a generic database. For example, Scopus, the analyze search result and features can be used to show a list of the journals that articles in your search were published in, sorted by how many of the articles come from each journal. Consider using Journal Selection Finder. You may come across tools that designed to help you select a journal to publish in. And this is what I discussed just now, that journal finder machine. So what is the scope of the journal? So have a look at the website of the journal to find the scope, and you must consider, does your research topic fit with the stated topic coverage? Is the methodology you use appropriate? Is the type of article accepted? Suppose original research, literature review, discussion, cast, all other things. So what is required length of the article, and this is very important and you must keep on investigating. So see, author surveys, journal suggested, these are the site. I am just showing you, these are the site, and see home, how to publish your research, choosing a journal, Taryn and Francis suggester. So this is how you can find out the journal and you can narrow down your shortlist and make a final selection of the best journal to support. So work through a 10-point checklist to make sure you have considered everything that could impact your chances of acceptance. So what is your key messages? The purpose of your article will help to determine if it is suitable for your target journal. Why did you write this article? To inform the reader, to prove a concept, to persuade the reader to do something. Consider what the focus of your research is and who you would expect to read it, and maybe even go on to cite it in their own work. This will build a picture of the type of journal you should be targeting. Familiarize yourself with the journal's content. So reading articles in your shortlisted journal is a good way to evaluate the quality of their publication. This will also help you to recognize the kind of articles the journal publishes and the topics it covers. Check the journal's aim and scope. Journal's aim statement will inform you of the objective or purpose of the journal, while the scope explains how it will be achieved. If you understand what the journal is trying to accomplish, you can assess whether your article helps with the mission. If you find that there are aspects of your research that don't fit the scope of your target journals, it can be a sign that they may not be right for you. Try to tailor your article to the objectives of the journal that most closely suits to your research and publication goal. So when choosing a journal to submit your article, it's important to make sure it's right fit. With this, I conclude the discussion. Let us discuss some other aspect next time. Till then, thank you.